What's going on, guys? Dylan Conrad, Coach Con Diesel. New week, I'm on a new couch, baby. That's how we do it. Before I get into it, follow me on social media at Coach_Con Diesel. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, all helps the algorithm. We have a new quality assurance person, Ron. If you have any complaints, I'm gonna put his Instagram handle at Ronnie Rock. You can DM him, let him know your complaints. I'm gonna talk to you guys today about why the calories in, calories out method does not work. And you're probably thinking in your head, is this just another like troll post? Is Dylan just trolling? Does he really not believe calories in, calories out method actually does not work? I do believe that it works, okay? So I'm just gonna like put that out there right away. Out of like the 5,000 people I've coached, the 10,000, probably more than that I've coached through my company, there's been 4 people that this model has not worked for. I do believe in metabolic disorders. I do believe that there's thyroid conditions and whatever you do, you're not gonna be able to lose body fat unless you do hormonal regulation therapy, stuff like that. I do believe that is prevalent. I also do believe that 99.9% of people that are saying, oh, it's my metabolic disorder, it's my metabolism, my thyroid, are actually just using it as a cop-out, okay? The number one thing is adherence. We always talk about adherence, right? Calories in, calories out. What that is basically you are consuming less calories than you're burning, right? So more calories out than the calories that are coming in, which will put you in a negative calorie balance, which is going to put you in a calorie deficit and allow you to lose body fat because you need to find the energy from somewhere. And if you're not getting it from food, you're gonna get it from your body fat, and that's why you're gonna burn out the body fat. So that's how it works. Why it fails a lot of the times, especially without a coaching intervention, is because it's freaking hard to be hungry. Like, it is really hard. And your body has a set point, right? And so say you're 180 pounds, you're 5'4", and your weight should be maybe around 120, 130, whatever a doctor tells you, right? You're at 180, you've been there for years, and you diet, right? You go on a diet, you go into a calorie deficit, you lose a bunch of weight, and then ghrelin starts hitting you in the face. You get super hungry. You're eating food and there's no signal to turn that off because there's no satiety signal being sent to your brain. Your metabolism slows down. These are all things your body does to trick you to get to eat food, right? And to throw you off and to be like, oh, I'm hitting a plateau. And so these are ways that our body tricks us to actually get back to our set point, because our body has that set point where it wants to be, that 180, what is also called the homeostasis, right? So if our set point's at 180, our body's gonna do everything possible if we've been there long enough to actually stay there and protect that. And that's where those hunger signals, the satiety signals, the metabolism slowing down, that's where that all comes down, is just to protect that set point, okay? So you do need to go through a period of restriction and dieting to get that set point lower, right? And so during that period of restriction, usually it's like, depending on how much weight you have to lose, anywhere from like six months to 18 months, right? Once you go through that and you stay down there for a long time, you stay there for like 6 months to another 18 months, once you stay down there, that is gonna be your new set point, okay? And then you can do a reverse diet, you can build up your metabolism, eat more food, so you're basically maintaining a lower body weight while eating more food, which is going to be sustainably keeping you at that lower weight. So the reason it doesn't work is because you get hungry and you eat, and when you eat, you go into a caloric surplus, cause you to gain the weight or just go back to where you were. So it's not to say that a calories in, calories out method doesn't work, it's just that being hungry doesn't work. That's the main reason that people fall off their diet. So we talk about this set point, right? And we say, okay, if we're going lower than that set point, the body is going to protect our body and send us back to that set point. Then why can we gain weight? Why is it easier to gain weight? Why isn't it when we gain weight to go back to that set point? Well, it does, because if you do overeat, you're not hungry the next day and you're not sending like hunger signals, and the body does even itself out. But it's a lot easier to be full than it is to be hungry. And also, we use food as a coping mechanism. So if we're uncomfortable, if we're bored, if we're sad, whatever it is, we just use food as a comfort mechanism, which is putting us into a more of a caloric surplus. Even though those signals aren't sending to we're not getting signals sent to our brain that we're hungry, we're getting psychological signals that like, hey, this is gonna comfort me. I need comfort, right? And then we go to food. So that's why it's easier to gain weight than it is to lose weight from a psychological perspective. So what do we do to stay full to maintain this calorie deficit? There's a ton of different things. Obviously appetite suppressants and lifestyle changes are gonna be the biggest ones, okay? So when we talk about appetite suppressants, we're talking about caffeine, which is super easy, that blunts the appetite. We're talking about sparkling water, pharmaceuticals, GLP-1 agonist group, semaglutide, liraglutide. There's a bunch of different ones that are coming out. I'm gonna post on that later date. We get into lifestyle changes. We're talking about getting full amounts of sleep, talking about delay and distract. Once you feel that craving come on, go for a walk, make a phone call, something to distract you from that craving. Drinking enough water, try to get at least half your body weight in ounces. Eat more low calorie, high volume food like vegetables. Have a high protein diet because higher protein keeps you fuller longer. Those just off the top of my head are gonna be the best ones. If you wanna look at more, I put like 15 down there, and that was all just from the top of my head. There's a million, and that's why we are in business, to be honest with you, is because it's freaking hard to be hungry. But there's a million different strategies that you can actually implement to adhere to that and get around being hungry. There's a lot of different coping strategies. And look, you don't have to be hungry for the rest of your life, right? Like I talked about earlier, you wanna reverse diet after you get to your weight, right? You're gonna go through a period of restriction where you're hungry, get to your goal physique, then you're going to go through a period of reverse dieting to build up your metabolism while you stay at that weight. So you'll be able to eat more food and not be hungry all the time and stay at that same physique, which will make it a lot more sustainable for you. Getting there, that's the hard part. And I think people are in the mindset of like, hey, I want to do this quickly, I want a quick fix, but it's a long process to actually do that when you think about like, oh my God, this for a year and a half, I don't know if I can do that. The other thing is, we make a lot of excuses to not do it. It's freaking hard to be hungry. It's hard to be hungry. If you're dieting, it's freaking hard, right? You get it. It's hard to be hungry. And when we fail at that, we want to point fingers on everything but ourselves to make different corrections. This is really easy to do nowadays, especially with like ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, different diets that we can try out and just be like, oh, well, calories in, calories out method didn't work for me, so I'm just gonna try that. When it actually is the only proven, like most researched, long-term way to reduce your weight and keep it down. But it's like, oh, this diet, this calories in, calories out, or calorie counting or eating less, it doesn't work for me, right? So I'm just gonna try something else. When it does work for you, it works for everyone. You just have to create the right strategies to actually adhere to that diet model to sustainably stay at that low body fat, and then reverse diet and do it properly. And just set your mind, like this is gonna be a long process. Like if you're far away from your goal physique, this is probably gonna be a 3-year process of you getting your metabolism back. But if you think on this time span, if you live, the average person I think lives for like 75, 80 years, that is such a small part of your life. And you get to live a healthy, happy, and not think about your weight and not think about food really after those 3 years that you invest. So think of it that way, have the long-term mindset, in the back of your head, and really just know that this is hard and you are gonna be hungry, and it's just creating strategies for yourself and knowing that those strategies are not gonna be what works for you at one time is probably not gonna work for you another time. So constantly switching things out and being cool and being coachable and just executing, that's the difference between what people that are successful, people are. So anyways, hope this helps. Stay hungry, my friends. Enjoy the rest of your day. Rock and roll.